Alright, let me break down what just went down in the MLB trade deadline madness, because wow, the Dodgers pulling off the Tarik Skubal deal is way more fascinating than just another blockbuster trade. Let's start with the obvious. The Tigers didn't just shop Skubal, they weaponized him. Detroit's front office basically said, "We're not selling a pitcher. We're auctioning off a franchise-altering talent, and you better bring your A game." And guess what? The Dodgers showed up with a suitcase full of prospects and a blank check. But here's the twist. This wasn't just about money or prospects. It was about philosophy. Let me explain why this trade might change how teams approach rentals forever. First, let's talk about the Dodgers' offer. Zaire Hope, River Ryan, Brady Smith, 3 prospects, but not just any prospects. Hope and Ryan were top 10 in baseball by some rankings. But here's what fascinates me. The Tigers didn't just want upside. They wanted immediate upside. Ryan, who turns 28 this month, isn't some shiny 20-year-old with a 100 miles per hour fastball. He's a guy who's battled injuries, missed a whole season, and still has a 1.33 ERA in his MLB starts. That tells me Detroit isn't rebuilding, they're retooling. They want pitchers who can contribute now, even if they come with risk. That's a bold move for a team that's still technically a seller. Now let's side-eye the Braves and Yankees here. Atlanta had all their young players on the table, including A.J. Smith-Shawver, but they never got close? Why? Because the Tigers weren't interested in a quantity over quality deal. And the Yankees? Cashman flat out refused to give up George Lombard Jr., a shortstop who just debuted and looked like a defensive savant. Personally, I think Cashman made the right call. Lombard's a 21-year-old with gold glove potential. Why trade him for a 1-year rental? But this also highlights a bigger issue. Teams are terrified of giving up specific players, even when it makes sense. The Brewers, meanwhile, had the prospects but hesitated. Imagine offering Jesus Made and Luis Pena, 2 top 10 prospects, for Skubal. That's a gutsy move, but Milwaukee's front office blinked. Why? Because small market teams always overvalue their own prospects. They act like every single one will turn into a star, but the reality? Most won't. And that fear of missing out on a gem might cost them championships. But let's circle back to the Dodgers. Their financial dominance isn't just about buying stars. It's about creating flexibility. They have Shohei Ohtani, Blake Snell, Yamamoto, and Snell on their books, right? But instead of seeing those as a payroll burden, they use them as leverage. Because they're loaded with expensive starters, they can trade prospects like Ryan and Smith without gutting their system. Meanwhile, a team like the Brewers? They're stuck. If they trade prospects, they risk thinning their farm system for a rental, but if they hold on to them, they might miss out on a playoff push. It's a lose-lose, and the Dodgers exploited that perfectly. Here's a detail I find fascinating. River Ryan's age and injury history. He's 28, older than Juan Soto, and has thrown less than 60 innings in 3 years. But the Tigers fell for his stuff. 5 elite pitches per analysts. That's a huge gamble. They're betting on upside and projection over track record. And honestly, that's the kind of risk a rebuilding team should take. Contrast that with the Padres, who traded for Casey Mize and Robbie Ray. Rentals with injury red flags. San Diego's president, A.J. Preller, is known for swinging for the fences, but this feels different. They're clinging to the playoff race with Manny Machado and Bogaerts aging out. It's a desperate move, and desperation rarely pays off. The bigger question this raises: is the trade deadline becoming irrelevant? Teams like the Tigers are gaming the system by waiting until the last second to see if they're buyers or sellers. And with expanded playoffs, fewer teams are outright sellers. Executives want to push the deadline to mid-August, but here's the catch. Later deadlines mean fewer impactful trades. Remember Verlander in 2017? That happened on the last day of August. If we lose those late August shocks, the deadline becomes less exciting. But maybe that's the point. MLB wants parity, but this Skubal deal proves the rich just get richer. The Dodgers aren't just buying stars, they're buying options. They can outbid, outtrade, and outmaneuver everyone because their wallet is deeper. And until the league addresses revenue sharing, the Dodgers pay $200 million into that pool every year. This cycle won't stop. So who won this deadline? The Tigers, surprisingly. They didn't just get prospects. They got a balanced package of high-risk, high-reward arms and position players. The Padres? They're a question mark. The Brewers? They played it too safe. And the Dodgers? They're the template for the future. If you're a small market team, how do you compete with that? Maybe the real takeaway here is that in MLB, it's not just about building a contender. It's about building a system that can survive multiple cycles. The Tigers just got a head start on theirs. What do you think? Did the Dodgers outsmart everyone? Or did the Brewers blow their best shot at Skubal? Let me know in the comments.